Okay, today I'm going to take this generator, that's what it's called, this generator, move this over so we can see a little bit, and start tearing it apart. This is the one I bought for 75 bucks, so I've already, as you can see, if you haven't seen my other videos, I made wheels for on it. I made the axle out of nuts and bolts. I made the handle. I've already changed a couple things, but I believe it's got, a friend of mine was telling me, and I never thought about it, blown head gasket. So we're going to tear it apart and put a head gasket on. I went ahead and ordered it. Got this on Amazon, but Amazon, it looks like it's alright, but Amazon kind of screwed up on this one. They sent this very, very fragile. If you push on it, see how it flexes? If that got a crease in it, it wouldn't have been no good. They sent that in an envelope. They should put that in a box. So. But anyway, we're going to start on that. Okay, what I did first, let me turn this so I can see what I'm telling you. I undid the new fuel line to the carburetor. It's got, pardon me, it's set off here. Just 6-in tank. Now I'm going to take these 4 bolts that hold the tank on off. These are a 10mm. You could use a wrench on this if you wanted to, but I find it just as easy, as long as you don't grab the threads, and you're used to doing this. You can use a set of channel locks like I'm using. Channel lock pliers. Just make sure you don't grab the thread. You want to grab the actual nut. And one to go. That one's actually screwed up a little bit. I didn't do it, but it is messed up. That one's still good. They're all still good. They're just cheap bolts. You can see that one's pretty round. This one right here, it's like an oval. So, alright. We got that off. Now we should be able to just gently grab this tank. Make sure all the bolts are up. You want to definitely make sure you get all the bolts out, because you don't want to sit there, start grabbing that and the gas washer and get all over you. Smell like gas. And that's all it is. And then gently set your tank down. Don't want to set it upside down because it could leak out the cap. This should come off. Yep. That's just a holder. And there we go. Now we got to go start taking all these bolts off. We got to take the carburetor flange off, and you got to take all the bolts that hold your full starter off. It's a bolt that holds the part of the throttle here. It's got to come off. More or less, you got to tear the whole side of this block apart. And whatever you take off, as you're taking it off, if you can put that nut, bolt, or whatever it is back on, I would recommend to put it back on. And since I fixed this right here to this, I'm going to hook this here and feed it through, probably. So what I'm going to do is gently pull this rubber out, like that. And as I unhook the carburetor stuff, I'll pull it through. So I'll keep on working on it and show you some more in a minute. If you're really not too familiar with small engines, move some of this stuff out of my way here. I would not recommend, let's see if I got a light. I know I got, try and see if I had a light so you got, here, I'll grab the phone. But if you're not really, that's what I said, too well with, or mess with small engines, get someone to help you on this one. There's a lot of stuff, switch it, that has to be taken off. There's a bolt back here that held this on. I put the bolt back in. I took the carburetor clean off. And when you take the carburetor off, make sure you don't lose anything. One of them plastic rings, round rings, I dropped. I had to find. But anyway, that's really not important. But you don't have to take it off here. You can just take the carburetor off here. I got to take the valve cover off. The exhaust I got to take off here. It's got a bolt underneath. And Allen heads up top. And then after that I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably one inside here. Let me turn this back off. Let's see. And since you got it tore down this far, you can check all your wires and your your spark plug leads and stuff like that. If something needs to be fixed, might as well fix it now. Then have to come back in here and tear all this apart and fix it later. But I'm thinking, I'm hoping I got the right gasket. I do not know until I get the head off. Right, I'll get the gasket we need. And if it ain't, it'll be part 1. Yeah, there's a bolt in the middle here of your head gasket. Right down here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this does look like it might be the right one, but until you get it all torn apart, you won't know. So what I gotta do next is get the Allen wrench for here, and I gotta figure out how these are adjusted. Looks like it's an Allen screw in there. And then maybe tighten this one up on here. I don't know. It's usually like on a race car, it's got a nut that goes in a nut and then a wing nut, and you turn it and tighten it. But on this motor, it looks different. You do not have to take the spark plug out unless you want to. So let's see if we can get something to take a head exhaust and start taking that apart. I'm going to just grab some. I don't even know if it's the right size. I'm just starting to measure. Too big. Too close, but too small. This is just my drawer of old Allen. That's close. Because this thing's going to be pretty tight. And it's probably metric, knowing me. I do not know as of right now. So we're going to go ahead and do away with that. We're going to get into our, I want to see if I could do it, show you an easy way to do it. But a lot of people don't have these. They sell them at Harbor Freight. They're pretty reasonable. Everyone says this stuff is expensive, but it's not. Harbor Freight's got a good deal on these, and it is, let me tell you, like I thought it was. Pretty sure it's a metric. Well, anyway, I don't have my glasses on. This one fits, so that is tight, guys. And I don't want to break it off. And you want to make sure righty tighty, lefty loosey. So let's see if I can tap on it. There, you heard it. Because if you put a lot of pressure on that, you can break that. But if you do this little trick that I'm doing right here, just like a impact, but you don't want to use the impact. The impact's not just that slight vibration. Sometimes we'll snap that right off like that. Not break it, but loosen it up. When I take these out, I can put them right back in. First I gotta get the exhaust off the bottom, but I can put these right back in the head. Then I know where it is. And that looks like a small bit that I've been using. Let's see. It is. Remember, lefty-loosey, that's tightening. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So that's going to be tightening now. I'm going to hit my little lever down here. Loosen it up. And this one's actually, I can feel it's got two nuts and bolts on this. And I can take these and put them right back in the muffler. Then I know where they are. I didn't lose them. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Now, this should just, it probably got it, nope, just got a standard gasket in there. If you're afraid you're going to drop something actually in your engine, you can take an old rag, paper towel, anything, and put it in this hole here. I got the one started. I'm just trying to put these back where they belong. And it's not going in there, and you don't want to cross thread it. There it goes. Put enough threads in there where it ain't going to fall back out. I'm going to take my other little nuts or bolts, and the nut is, the threads is built into the muffler. I'm going to put them back in here. Set that to the side. Now we got to work on this. I'm going to try to take it where they're both loose, so you can see they're kind of both loose. I want to see if I could actually move that more, but there it is. There's one. I'm not going to take these all the way out. There's two. Now gently pull the push rods out, and you want to set these somewhere they're not going to be touching any dirt or anything or grime, because you don't want that going back in your motor when you put it together. Now I'm going to take and just gently snug this back up. So the way this one is adjustable, it's tightening here, and you tighten a little bolt here. Or a nut, yeah, a nut. Alright, so we got that. All that's undone. You wanna go over and double check everything, that you got everything undone. It's got some type of shield here. Now I can't tell. It's actually part of this, the whole shield, so that don't come apart. So now you got to get in there and crack the head apart. And these look like, to me, just by looking, 12 millimeter, I'm going to guess. Yep, 12 millimeter. Same little trick. I'm not loosening them up too much. I'm going to actually cross corner this so it don't do any damage, warp the head. This one's going to be a little harder to do, I guess, but I'm going to try it. Alright. A little shorter extension would work too. I'm trying to go around in like a bolt pattern for a lug for your car to loosen it up, and that's the way you're going to put it back on too. This should be the last one right here. All right. Let's see if I can get the hardest one out first. The other ones I can reach. That one I can't. I'm going to take a magnet. I'm going to make sure my magnet don't have no shards of metal, no nothing on it. I'm going to gently pull that out. Alright. Now remember, like I said, if you're not really familiar with smaller engines, get someone to help you, or if you got the money, pay someone who knows what they're doing to do it. And make sure if you do that, it's a reputable shop. It's just not your neighbor. Just because your neighbor says he can do it and stuff, you don't have any proof. You don't want him working on your small engine. There's a lot of backyard mechanics says they can do a lot of stuff, which they can, but it doesn't mean they're always doing it right. Make sure when you pull these out, well, I looked it up, they looked like they were all the same length, but you want to make sure they are all the same, because you don't want to put a long one in a short one and then break something in your block. I'm hoping this is the problem. They are all the same, like I thought. Now if I gently just pull on this or tap on it, it should come right up. Which it is. I got this side holding us over here. So it's right where this piece is. I'm trying to take this the head off without having to actually have to take this off. I should be able to pull down on it or something. There it goes. And I damaged it a little bit, cranked it right there. So I said these crank, and you see me just merely moving it. I really can't see where trying to see where it was busted or anything, but right here I didn't do that. Right in here a little bit, and right here it wasn't making contact. So anyway, I'll straighten this out. You want to take your new gasket, make sure it's the same one, which it is. So I'll order another one of these. I didn't want to order two and be the wrong one to start off. Then you want to check your cylinder to make sure there ain't no grooves or anything. Yeah, I can see where it was going through right here. So what I gotta do before you put that on, I gotta clean all that. That is terrible. And I can show you what I mean. Get you down here. So, and let's see if I can get stuff all over my camera here. I'll see if I can turn the light on for you, but let me get my other light here. I didn't want to do it. Try and do this. There we go. You can see how right here you see all that stuff up here, right in here where my finger is. There it is. You gotta get all that cleaned up, all that mating surface, and the same way on the head. You'll get that clean. Let's bring the head up here. You can see the gasket went bad. You got to get all that cleaned up. Do not use sandpaper. If you're using sandpaper, you want to use a 4000 grit or something, because you don't want no marks in here. Use a Razor Gorilla 8 scraper, like and not like this. Don't just. I thought I bought one, and you could use a blade like this, but you could actually cut your finger if you're not careful. But you want to use a window scraper. And I know I bought one. It was a nice little kit. I just don't know where I put it. So, but anyway, you want to make sure that all that's pretty well cleaned off there. So, I'll show you some more in a little bit. And we'll get her together. Oops, the wrong one. Alright, I'm going to show you the head. I got to clean a little bit right there. Actually, looks pretty good. Then I got that pretty clean. What I used very gently, it was an old window scraper. That I wouldn't really recommend that, but and a Brillo pad. Put a little oil in this if you want. That really won't scratch the surface. You can use that to actually to clean your crank and all that, just to get some of the rust off. But that's what I used. So now all we gotta do is put it back together. Now we're gonna start putting it back together. I'm gonna show you. Remember where all your bolts were, and since this is made like a car one, I wish, let me turn that around. I wish the Generac would have made it like the old Britain Stratton. These would have been good. They actually had marks on them. They look. That's not gonna fit, guys. Because I got it upside down. I put it on backwards. I was like, man, I know it's the right one. That was my stupidity. Alright. And when you put this back on, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you don't put a lot of pressure and dent that new gasket. You mess up your new gasket, then what was the sense of even take it apart? So I'm going to try to get it started here. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to have to get this other one started, it looks like, first. Actually, I think I got it. I thought that was held on, but I guess it's not. It's one screw here. Let me go ahead and take that screw out. First, we gotta find the tool. I thought it was hooked up there. The wires are hooked there, but I don't even know if I can get in there to get it, guys. It's a tight screw. That's too big. I'd go smaller. I'll see if I can just loosen it up. There we go. Got it pretty loose. Nope. The other one really wasn't worried about because we knew we were replacing it. But I don't want to be jamming or jerking or pinching or anything of this new gasket. Because it ain't the money that's the big issue on this one. It's only a $7 gasket. It's all your time and effort. See, I could push down real quick, but it's leaning a little bit. So I'm going to pull this back out. I'm going to try to get it started on both so it slides down like just like that with no pressure. Alright, we got all that done. Then I'm going to go back Make sure all the stuff's on my magnet. I'm putting the exact one. Wouldn't matter, but I'm putting the exact one that came out back in the bottom here. Alright. Then the other four, just go around the head. Then you want to do it. I gotta see what the torque sequence is. I haven't looked that up yet. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do that, but I'm gonna just snug them down for now. And you can see I'm only spinning that with my one finger. I got that close. I haven't got it all the way. So you can see the head moving still. I would not recommend to do this with any type of power tool, because if you can't screw them in with your finger like I'm doing, it could cross thread. And then you'd be in a world of trouble. Now I'm letting it actually go down and stop with my finger, because since I got most of them in, it's putting a little pressure on it. I'm only putting a little bit of pressure, about 5 pounds, 5 foot-pounds. So, alright, now I'll go figure out what they are and I'll get back with you. Okay, I looked it up on the net. It's telling me 22 foot-pounds torque, that you're supposed to torque the heads after, it says after 50 hours of running, and that maybe that's what happened to it. The person bought it and didn't read the manual, so, and I know the only torque wrench I got is this huge thing, lug wrench, but it does foot-pounds. So I just gotta loosen it up here and come up here where I can see. Yeah. It's telling me 22, so I'm making it, crap, I made about 25 roughly, 3 extra, and not because of anything, it's because I got that long extension on it. I know it's not going to click. I'm going to make sure it is going to go click before I really wrench on it. I'll put it on something. Now I'll put something on here just I want to make sure it's going to go click click before I really start wrenching. So because I don't want to break the studs. I gave it all a smooth, even, as you've seen. I'm right behind you guys on my engine hoist. I'm going to make sure it is clicking. I can feel it. Alright, I can feel it. It's not clicking because the one thing's messed up. The one bolt's missing. But I know where it's, I can feel the click. So, I am good with that. Right there. See? You can hear it a little bit. Can't hear it a lot. Right there. Right there. Right there. See it? It's moving a little bit. That's where it'd be clicking. Right there. Now I'm going to go around in a circle pattern just to make sure you can hear it. It's just not clicking like it should be. There it is. And they are actually a lot tighter than when I took it off. So I think that was the problem. They didn't come back and do it like the manual said about retorquing them. Alright, we got all that torqued down. I'm going to set that back on like that. Now we got to come back in here. Oh, that's the one that goes up there. Now I got to get this back in there. Might have to take the oil filter off. To get it to go. But the oil filter should be loose. Yep. Now, since I rechanged the oil, a bit fresh oil in I'm at. Some might leak out, which it is. Getting oil on my jeans here. something ain't right. By doing that, can't even get the oil filter back on. There we go. Now we got it. Now I just gotta. I'm trying not to press and pull and jerk, and because then that's when you start getting stuff out of shape. It should just fall right back into place like that. Alright. Now I can put my oil filter back on, which I need to change. That's the original one. Alright. And I'll put the bolt back in it. Now I didn't check the torque specs of these because they're about 10. No more than 15 usually. So I can do these by hand. There that is. Alright, now I'm going to come in here and clean all this off. Then I got to set my valves. Because if you don't get your valves set right, your motor will never run, guys. And if it does run, it's going to run like crap. Alright. So, wrong one. Alright. Loosen all these up. Don't need to take them all the way off. Then to show you, your push rods are identical. And you should hear a little click or somewhere right there where it sits. And then see how I was putting it there? You don't want to make that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that the half of a ball, or say, wrong one, half softball or half or whatever, that is stuck in there. It's got a little divot. It looks like a ball, basketball, softball. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if it moved any. I don't know. It probably did. Yeah, see, that's way too tight. See. I think that's too tight, but I'm going to snug these down, make sure I had a piece of dirt on there. You don't want no dirt down in your motor. See, now they are too tight. So this is gonna be tricky on doing this on these. All right, let's go see if we can find our filler gauges, which I do not know exactly where they are. I usually keep them upstairs so nothing happens to them. Alright, got them right here. Your intake should be, I set my intake at 5 and my exhaust at 7. That's thousands. Looks like I got a 4 and a 6, which is in, there's a 7, which is in the ballpark that the allowance they let you. Yeah, because it goes from 4 to 10 thousandths, 0.25 millimeter. Doesn't give me a 5. I have another set of these too somewhere. But I'm going to go with the 4 and the 6. I'll make it a hair loose on the 4. Now, remember, your smaller one is going to be your intake. Got some dirt there. Carbon buildup. So that's going to be this side. Then your exhaust, because your exhaust is right here. That is this valve. That will be your bigger one. By what they say. So. What I'm going to do is see, it's sticking way too much air. Alright, let me go get a 10 millimeter wrench. That's what it looks like, just off the top of my head. It might be different. It might be 11, but I'm thinking that's a 10. That the adjustment is. Yep, I'm right. I just mess with so much Chinese stuff and it's loose there. See, that's way too tight. And there we go. Too loose. Too tight. Make sure your tool's clean, because that can put stuff down your motor too. Pretty loose. Starting to grab a little bit there, too much. Right there. Now, that is a 4,000. Now I'm going to try a 6. If a 6 doesn't fit, see, too loose. Let's see if a 4 fits. Nope, too tight. Right there. See if the 6 fits. It does. I don't want the, see how, yeah, it's real tight on the 6. Let me try the 4. You could be here hours doing this, but you want to make sure it's exactly right. 4 fits. See? It's way too loose. And I can readjust this when I get it all back together. I'm turning it just to make sure everything is completely off of it. I am going to be here a while, I can tell you that. The way this thing is set up, I can get close and it moves. It's not fitting. Not fitting again. I don't know who thought of this idea, but I could kick him in the butt. Because it's got a nut down here and a nut up here. It's not the one. It's not that easy to adjust these. Some people might be easier for them, not for me. Alright, it's kind of fitting tight on that one. Alright, it's fitting tight on that one. I think I'm getting there. Now I lost my 4. I had a 4 and an 8. Yeah, we're good. This one is good. Now I'm going to go and try to do this one. They didn't make this one too easy to work on, guys, I'll tell you that. Right there is where I want it, but one goes one way and one goes the other way. I'm trying to hold it there. This one's got to come up. Your nut's got to come up, and the other one's got to go down. See, if I leave it the other way, then it clicks. See, it's really loose there. But by turning this, it's turning that, and makes it click. I'm going to snug that up a little bit. Then I'm going to try to back it off. I'm going to snug it up, back it off, snug it up. It's the only thing I can do. So I get it close to where I want it. Got a little bit of drag here. I think I just moved it, which I did, but tightened it up too much now. Right there. Yeah, I'm good with that, as long as my bolts are tight. Alright. Now I'm going to check them again. I know, like I said, it could take you hours. That one, I actually like that. Like the feel of that. This should be a hair loose, maybe not real tight. Yep. I like that too. So, that is all done. And now we're just going to turn the motor over by hand. A couple resolutions to make sure they are seated in there right. You don't hear no clock, or make sure it's on there right. Got plenty of compression this time. Actually more than I had before. Now I'll check him again. So, alright, I'll show you some more in a little while. Okay, we got our most all back together. A little trick that I've found over the years. When you go to put your side cover back on, your pool cover, if you pop out your on and off, your run switch or whatever you want to call it, if you pop that out and then put it together, you can push them in and snap that back together. Let's see if that works. It always worked on the older ones. Usually there was enough wire sticking out to do that. Got a good bit of wire sticking out here, but I gotta get it. First, before you start snapping that on, you want to make sure that you get all your stuff back into place about where it needs to be. And if you still can, turn it over, do a revolution. Don't hold on that wire, that can shock you. Make sure you don't hear anything, because sometimes the cover, if you put it on wrong, it can be catching or whatever. So I'm gonna put a couple of my nuts or bolts in here. And these are all identical. I did not tighten that red cover up. It's loose. All my covers are loose right now. I'm not hitting hard, tapping on that hard, but I am tapping on it. I'm hoping that I can get that one in without having to tear it apart. Because you want to push it. You remember, you want to make sure they go in freely. You don't want anything cross-threading, because the aluminum and the steel, your steel bolt, would not be good. Then it's called, it'll gall itself. And it's when you gall them in there, man, they're nightmare to get out. It just wouldn't be good. Let's put it that way. This one's going to be a little more tricky. It's not in aluminum, but I want to make sure I still start it right. And I really can't get in there. There, I got it. When I was doing this, the only thing I was doing was trying to hold it tight and move it. See, that's going right in. Then it should be two more left. One here and one over on that side. Now this is going into the aluminum. So you want to make sure this is, if you can't just spin that in, all smooth in with your fingers, you got something wrong. Back here, you had one. There's that one. I'm going to jump over to the bottom one. Really don't matter on these, no. But you don't want to tighten that up, that other red piece up, part of your housing, until you get this one. It should be able to still get in there. Yep, right here it is. And we got one left, I think. One right here. There we go. There that is. I'm not over tightening them, I'm just going back and checking. Making sure they are snug. I'm putting about 5 foot-pounds roughly on them, just by feel. Don't take much. All it is a cover. Nope. I gotta tear all that back apart. Got that together wrong, guys. That was my mistake. The throttle linkage is being pinched. That's why I had to tap on that like that. Probably. And I hope I didn't bend it. If I did, I know I can straighten it. But I thought something was wrong. But I thought I just had to tap it a little bit. Because sometimes these up. See, that's why I didn't hook them up neither yet. Thing would have never ran. Because I wouldn't be able to get the carburetor on there. See how badly I screwed up here. Yes, I could edit this out, but I'm not. Because there's no one perfect. A lot of people edit their videos and take the goofs out. I don't. I straightened it already. Make sure it's sewer. We'll go round 2 here. It's actually got a little slice, which I thought it was in there, but it wasn't. It is now. See it working? I'm going to pull it back off. I just wanted to make sure. I want to make sure I didn't bend it anywhere else. And I didn't. I just bent it a little bit right here at the end. And nothing was going to damage anything. I'm going to run it through my test again. You still hearing me? Yep. Make sure nothing's hidden. Alright, everything sounds alright. Start putting my bolts back in for the second time. Now I gotta find my little ratchet. This one's not going playing. See, it's starting to go crooked, and you don't want that. It's not threading in there right. There it goes. Throttle's still working? Yep. And I did tell you wrong. I thought these were all the same. There's one or two that are longer. The other ones are going to go through the thicker stuff. I can tell you that just by looking, but it ain't so much that it's going to really bother anything. It's like one or two threads longer. But they are longer. I told you wrong. So you're going to need a long one there, long one here. I think the other two long ones. Because it's got to go through this plate, and this one's going through like 3 things. But like I said, it's only one or two thread's longer, so probably ain't really gonna matter. But if you're very particular, you might want to do that. Make sure it's exactly. Because when you tighten everything up, like I'm doing now, and go back, you're going to spin it over anyway. Make sure you're not rubbing and touching. You should. I'm not snugging it down real bad yet. Now I'm going to snug them down, make sure they're right. I tightened it down, and then I'm taking about a quarter turn. I got two here on this side. You don't want to put a lot of it on there if it's in aluminum, because it will strip out aluminum, guys. There it is. Make sure ain't nothing hidden. That's what I said. Let's go. A lot of compression now, which it didn't have that much before. Alright, now we'll go back to our wires that we started on. You just want to make sure these ain't touching each other. And they are plugged in, because they're touching each other. It won't run. So it'd be just like grounding it out. Man, that thing's got tons of compression now. So, got all that back together. Now we gotta, I'll put the front on. And if you're starting to put this on and it's not lining up like that right there, whatever, if you pull on your pull rope, you can get that to line up. Just like the other thing. I find my little I don't even know how to deal with it now. Here it is. You want to start these by hand. That was the other socket. That's wrong. Everything should come out or go in as easy as it came out. If it came out real hard, that means your threads could be screwed up. And then you want to get tap and die out and make sure you got the right thread and clean your hole. Because you never know if you're buying something used, what they did before. You got it. And you see, they went right in. Now I'll put about 5 foot-pounds of torque on there at least. Not over torquing it, because you don't want to strip the bolts out. It doesn't take much. Just strip that stuff. Man, that thing's got compression now. Alright. I got my 2 gaskets. Alright, well I'm going to stop you for a minute. I'm going to take a break. And we'll get back to it. My hip is bothering me and we'll finish her up and see if she runs. Okay, it's all back together. I have not tried to start it. I haven't tried anything. I got all my bolts tight. Went over, double checked everything. Made sure oil filter is tight again. Check that. Everything seems to be tight. We'll open the door here and see what she does. You will know as much as I will because, like I said, I did not try to start it or not. I didn't try to warm it up and say, oh look, it started on one start. Or one pull. Now I did change the pull. Let me turn that around so I can see. Now I did change the pull mechanism. It was here before and I put it over here. Easy to get to. So if I did this right, which all the gaskets look like they're back in right, we turn it on. Well, I'll leave it off for a second. I'll make sure the choke is off. And I'm going to just pull it to make sure the oil gets in there. And I want to check compression too. Oh yeah, look how much compression we got now, guys. Alright, so I'm going to actually use the choke off. Make sure it's not touching. Should fire up, but you never know. Oh, we forgot to turn the gas on. So I told you I haven't done anything. Turn the gas on. Let the gas go down a second. That should be long enough. Let's see. Let's choke it. Sounds pretty good, guys. I'm going to adjust the throttle a little bit. Right there, sounds good. We'll let that run. Sounds really good. Sounds better than it did before. Alright, so I'm going to let that run a little bit, and then we're going to check the oil. Let me I'll get a power tool or something. Get the old grinder. Just to put a load on it. Alright, put a load on now. We got a few cleaned up a little bit. Pop. Alright, I think we're close. Pretty quiet. Let's go and shut the gas off. Let it shut itself off. Let it shut itself off now, it's good time. There it goes. Alright. Now I'll spin it around. It's a little warm. I can tell. It's supposed to warm up. Let's put something on there and see how much oil's in it. I know I probably put over full it, but it shouldn't pour out of here. Shouldn't if that was a problem. Look there, guys. Fixed it. No more gas and oil. Well, we do have to put some oil in. The oil's a little low. But there it is. Like this video, give me a thumbs up, then thumbs down. At least watch one. We got $160 cash roughly in it. About 200 labor and everything, building all. Got a nice little generator. Please subscribe and bye till later.